I'm an extrovert. Like airports are like my jam. I'm like, oh my goodness, a whole room full of people with nothing to do. This is awesome. And those of you that are introverts, raise your hand if airports are like, nope. Yes, my wife is an introvert. And so a couple things that we do is we're friends with extroverts and introverts. And one of the ways we display our interest is we have our friends, our friends over, and we have our lost friends and our believing friends. And we ask our believing friends to also have their lost friends over, and we call them Matthew parties. Matthew, when he started following Jesus, he invited the disciples and all of his lost tax collector friends to a party, and it probably sounded like a party that a bunch of tax collectors from back in the Bible times were at, okay? And Jesus loved that scene. And what my wife does as an introvert is she just kind of turns me loose, like, hey, go fill our living room up with people. And I'm like, yes. And so I go meet people and invite people, and I think, who am I going to text? Who am I going to invite? And throw a party that people want to come to, okay? Throw a party. Like, what kind of party would your neighbors want to come to? Throw that kind of party. Invite your Christian friends. Have them invite their lost friends. We're getting ready to do one in our neighborhood called I Scream, You Scream, We All Scream for Ice Cream for Halloween. And just invite our neighbors, some of which we don't know yet, to come to an ice cream party. And just like, hey, come to the cul-de-sac, eat some ice cream, meet your neighbors. Like, non-threatening. Who doesn't want some ice cream, right? And here's what happens is I'm the extrovert that I'm like meeting everybody and getting about this deep with them. And my wife is kind of like, that lady right there. And she'll go just pull her chair up probably 6 feet from this lady in this day and time, and she'll just have a conversation. And by the end of that night, she'll know more about that lady, and she'll know where she is spiritually. And my wife has actually probably seen more of her friends come to know Jesus than I have in College Station, because she just kind of takes her time and picks from those that are gathered and just goes deep with them. This isn't a only for extroverts game. In fact, making disciples is a team sport. If you're trying to be fascinating, there's only room for you. These are my disciples. These are my people that I'm working with. But when you're fascinated with people, it's like both before people come to Christ and once they come to Christ, you're making disciples as a team. Like, oh, wow, you're into baseball? Well, man, you got to meet my friend Philip. He loves baseball. Oh, the Astros? Well, he's actually going to the Astros game tomorrow night. You want to tag along with him? And I just set Philip up with a lost friend to go to an Astros game. Like, it's not this, it's this. It's let's do this together, church. Throwing a party together. Even when you're discipling people who come into the kingdom, it looks like, wow, yeah, you need to grow in your boldness, sharing the gospel. I'm not that great at that. Why don't I introduce you to my friend Chris, who loves to be bold with the gospel, and you can go around with him. You can learn from him, because you're not making disciples of Chris or disciples of insert your name. You're making disciples of Christ, and we can do that as a team when we're fascinated.